I knew it was over before the applause even faded. The lights were too bright, the clapping too loud, her smile too perfect. When she leaned into the microphone and spoke, casually, cruelly, like every word had been rehearsed, something inside me snapped cleanly, without pain, without warning. "I owe it all to my co-workers," she said, her eyes sweeping across the room like she owned every person in it. "And especially my boss, for all his support, even after hours." Laughter rippled through the ballroom. She paused, letting it breathe. Then she smiled wider. "My husband never really had what it takes." The crowd laughed harder. They clapped louder. That was the exact moment everything changed. The room tilted. The air thickened. My ears rang, not because of the noise, but because of the clarity. Betrayal does not always arrive screaming. Sometimes it stands on a stage and lets people applaud it. I stood calmly, visible, unshaken. I walked to the stage, handed her the wrapped box, and said evenly, "From your biggest failure." Then I left. When she opened it, she screamed. I remember the smell of the ballroom before anything else. Citrus cleaner, warm wine, and that fake floral perfume hotels pump through the vents to make success smell expensive. I remember thinking how strange it was that the same room celebrating her promotion had once hosted our wedding anniversary. Same carpet, same walls, different lies. Her hand trembled when she accepted the box. I wrapped it myself. Sharp edges, black ribbon, the kind of care you give to something important. I never looked back when I walked away. I did not need to. I had already seen the ending. There was a time when I loved her quietly, not loudly, like the men she admired. I loved her by waking up early, by fixing what broke, by staying when leaving would have been easier. I loved her with consistency, the kind of love nobody notices until it disappears. We met when we had nothing, shared coffee mugs with cracks in them, shared dreams scribbled on napkins. She used to tell me my calm made her feel safe, that my steadiness was her anchor. I never realized that anchors become resented by people who want to drift away. The first promotion changed her laugh. It became sharper. The second promotion changed her schedule. Later nights, longer showers. Her phone always face down. Tiny details in her stories stopped matching. I convinced myself it was ambition. I convinced myself love adapts. But love does not erase instinct. It only asks you to ignore it. At first, the signs were subtle. A cologne on her coat that was not mine. Smiles she practiced in the mirror but never gave to me. She stopped asking about my day, yet somehow memorized every detail about his. I learned his name by accident. She whispered it in her sleep. I did not confront her. Not because I was afraid, but because I wanted the truth clean, undeniable. I needed to know whether I was losing my wife, or whether she had already given herself away long ago. So I watched. I listened to the things she never said. I noticed how her phone lit up at midnight, and how she rolled away from me to answer it. I tracked the fake business dinners that somehow lasted until sunrise. I memorized every lie she delivered with practiced confidence. Doubt is loud. Certainty is quiet. The night I followed her, the city felt hollow. Streetlights flickered like nervous witnesses. She parked outside his apartment building without hesitation, without guilt, without even looking back. I never followed her inside. I went home, opened my laptop, and started digging. People think investigation comes from obsession. It does not. It comes from control. I did not rage. I did not spiral. I moved carefully, methodically, like an accountant balancing numbers. Shared cloud folders. Deleted messages that were never really deleted. Expense reports disguised as client meetings. Hotel receipts. Security logs. Calendar invites with fake titles. Then came the emails. God, the emails. Not just the affair. Plans. Strategies. Jokes about me. Conversations about how my kindness made me weak. About how he enjoyed breaking women who still believed loyalty mattered. That was the moment pain turned into precision. I stopped shaking. I stopped hurting. I started planning. I never confronted her. Instead, I congratulated her on the promotion. I cooked dinner. I kissed her forehead. I let her believe she was winning. While she slept, I built the box. Inside were printed emails, screenshots, transcripts, and a USB drive loaded with everything. Every message, every receipt, every lie. The company logo was printed neatly across the label. HR ready, board ready, lawyer ready. There was also a recorder hidden inside. It activated the second the box opened. Weeks before the ceremony, I had already filed anonymous reports, timed emails, scheduled releases, every detail prepared in advance. No emotion, just facts. The moment the company announced the promotion ceremony, I knew it would be perfect. A stage, a crowd, witnesses, ego at its highest point. Revenge does not rush. It waits for the fall to become public. She practiced her speech for days. I listened quietly from the hallway while she rehearsed my humiliation like it was comedy. She never thanked me once. That was fine. The night of the event, I wore the suit she loved most. The one she said made me look reliable. I wanted her comfortable. I wanted her confident. When she mocked me on stage, I felt nothing. When the audience laughed, I felt lighter. Standing up from my chair felt ceremonial, like closing the final page of a book. Her eyes landed on the box immediately. Confused at first, then pleased. She probably thought it was jewelry. Maybe an apology. It was neither. The screaming began 3 minutes after I left. I was already in the parking lot when my phone exploded with notifications. Missed calls, panicked messages, chaos unfolding in real time. Someone plugged the USB drive into the ballroom projector. The screen filled with emails, hotel reservations, voice recordings, dates, times, everything. Her boss turned pale. Board members whispered frantically. The laughter disappeared. Then came the silence. And after silence came panic. The kind that destroys careers. She screamed when she realized this was not temporary embarrassment. It was permanent exposure. By morning, he was suspended. By noon, she was escorted out of the building. By night, the company released an official statement. For the first time in months, I slept peacefully. She came home after midnight. Mascara streaked down her face. Her voice cracked apart between anger and desperation. First she yelled. Then she cried. Then she begged. I said nothing. Silence is devastating when someone expects forgiveness. I had already packed my bags. The aftermath was not dramatic. It was efficient. Papers signed. Accounts divided. Lawyers involved. She tried rewriting the story. I let her try. Revenge only needs an audience once. I moved to another city. Took a smaller job. Somehow felt larger inside myself. People ask me if I regret humiliating her. If I feel guilty for destroying everything. I do not. Betrayal is a decision. Revenge is a response. Justice is simply timing. She believed strength was volume. She believed power came from attention. She believed loyalty was weakness. She was wrong. The loudest moment of her life became the moment she lost everything. And my strongest move was standing up once, then walking away forever. Some failures do not need redemption. They only need to be remembered.